Um, Eeyore is getting food. I think this game is basically over. This is the third Drake. This has been just a textbook game by PSG. This is the PSG that I saw when I watched some PCS.
Yeah. Did you watch the C9 game?
I mean, no, I was sleeping, bro. I've been.
Yeah, yeah,
This
that's
is the play. This is the
fair.
play right here.
Watch it and tell me if that's the. Watch it and tell me if I'm overhyping C9 in NA or if this is just a completely different team that you're seeing.
This is a.
Because
I was discussing it. They are not put. Like I saw the Missy. You know how many? Okay, so I brought up. I was telling them. About the. About Fudge. He played more Scion games and tanks, and they're stemming away from what they did in
yeah,
NA.
I don't know. I don't know these drafts. I don't get it at all. Why not play like Yon mid, Lee Sin mid? Like that's like Perks'
Kofta.
style, and then put Blabber on shit like Rumble. Like I don't understand what's going on with their drafts, but even that, you can't lose against DFM. You know,
No, you
like
can't.
like that's just it's so embarrassing. Um, and I don't know if this is just my C9 bias talking, but I've never seen C9 choke against wildcard teams. The only good thing that got close was the Gambit like best of 5 series. In their, you know what I mean? Like I usually C9 fall short against good
Major
opponents,
regions,
but
yeah.
they always seem to win against like teams that are below them.
Yeah, they're proper gatekeepers.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're proper gatekeepers. They never
But
have.
that is not. Yeah, this is like a very underwhelming showing, and after what happened last summer, I'm really starting to think that there is
TSM for them
some
came.
elements of mental pressure with Blabber, especially. Like, cause Blabber's not
No,
playing like he did in NA.
he's playing out of his
Kofta.
mind in a way, like not in a good way. Like there's
Kofta.
like
How many?
go ahead.
How many times? Sorry. How many times did I said and when we throughout the year, Blabber does not know how to play from behind. It's showing. It's showing, bro. I don't like.
Yeah. The thing about it was that like I made this argument with EO when we were watching it live. You can't even say that it's that he doesn't know just how to play from behind. It's like you were behind in a lot of those TL games, right? Like it wasn't like you had lane prio every single time. It's definitely not like Perks is going up against a better mid laner than Jensen when he's playing up against DFM, right? I don't think that's an unreasonable statement to make. So then how is it that Perks is losing lane prio and we're putting Fudge on a carry top and he doesn't have lane prio against a Gnar? Like, why are our solo laners losing prio when they won prio against much better laners in Alfari and Jensen? So I really don't understand where the disconnect is
roles
happening.
is reversed. It should be Perks on the carry, and Fudge just being a bitch. No offense.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's where the only
yeah,
where the only like tangential argument that I had to that was just the champion picks. Is that if it's and it should be a well-known fact, like who gets prio early on around Scuttles in the Orianna versus Zoe matchup, if it's known that Orianna does not get that prio because of Zoe's, paddle star and just how much damage it does to waves, then you need to have an alternative plan to at least go even and grab bot Scuttle and not just be flashing to die to just get, top Scuttle. Come on, like I think
yeah, and just to make it clear, I'm pretty sure we can discuss this in detail and when we do the review, like in the detailed review or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that waves up until level 3, Orianna has prio in that lane, unless the Zoe hits a paddle star on both the casters as well as the Ori, because that's the only way that you can get the poke damage while also pushing the wave. So that's what I am assuming happened, and that's inexcusable, right? Like either you take the paddle star and you don't give wave push, or you take the wave push, but then you get a amazing trade on the back end where you can still rotate, miss minions, but there's no way for them to contest because mid lane is low.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why Perks lost lane prio in that top scuttle before top scuttle, and I really don't understand why Jace doesn't have prio against a Gnar early game.
Yeah.
Um,
See, what I want to do is just grab
both
our...
those things make no sense.
I
So
wanna
I
grab-
I,
I
I
wanna
can
grab
understand
our-
Blabber's frustration.
Yeah. See, what I want to do is have our bronze, silver, diamond talents to just go into a training mode custom game and just test out the prio. It's like, okay, your goal is to not exactly attack your laner, but just see who kills minions faster up through like level 4.
Yeah, but bronze, silver, and that's not a good test.
No.
But yeah, I
No,
mean,
but it's content.
yeah. See, and I 100% agree with you that Blabber needs to realize what is happening, even though it shouldn't be happening, and adapt. He needs to adapt. When he sees that his mid and top don't have prio, and I'm sure they're calling out that we don't have first row,
You can look at the map.
you can't
Come
just
on.
flash in for a scuttle crab.
Yeah.
Come on, Tarzan wouldn't do that. He tweeted about it. Tarzan's the most delusional jungler I know. So,
Oh, this game is over.
Oh, this game's over. This is what I want. Brazil, stop it. Don't think you can get out.
I'd appreciate the clout, but the burns are going to be loud and clear. Bronzeo going to take that respect. Lying down.
Yeah. Say what you will about NA and international events. We don't choke as hard as Brazil. Haha! Better than a wildcard region. XT.
That's all the pride we have anymore, and Japan's beating us. Like,
it's so sad that we're at that. Look at LMS is showing why they belong here. They had one bad day, and guess what? They said, you know what? We're gonna take the Rumble Jungle. We're not gonna play Udyr.
Yeah, I just call this down the draft if though for this Pain Gaming PSG game. You do not give away Rumble at this point. Like,
yeah, I think that you should at this point call the authorities, right? If someone picks a hack room, like the real authorities, just to lock them up.
I'm sorry,
in jail,
sir. This man is making me and my 3 teammates commit suicide. Can we please get rid of him? Thank you.
Like, isn't this a hostage situation or?
Yeah. And I like karaoke.
Yeah, why RP? I don't understand that. Hacker makes no sense. But anyways, Nidalee made no sense either. Especially if you can't hit a spear on a stationary target.
Right?
TG better retire, bro. You're getting too old for this game.
Yeah, I'm very, very disappointed, and I'm very nervous for tomorrow now.
Oh man, part of me doesn't feel bad that TSM is not here now. I can laugh.
That's how I felt at Worlds when TSM went 0-6, man.
Kofta,
At the very least, I can laugh at them. You know, you're allowed to laugh at C9 if we don't make it out of this group.
and remember, didn't I say that? I said, hot take. What happens if C9 doesn't make it out? That ain't happening.
No, I mean, we literally all said if that happens, they deserve to be flamed, like out of this world, because that would be the most disappointing NA result since. I mean, is this more disappointing than TSM 0-6? I think so, because you literally lost against wildcard teams. So I think it's more disappointing.
Based on the narratives that we could even agree on, like TSM wins summer, but no one really thought that it was really worth it. Or really was like the best version because Cloud9 was such a disappointment at that time. Because we were all really hoping and expecting Cloud9 to they rock spring, they come into summer, and they underperform. Like they just can't get it together. They, just couldn't keep innovating or something like that. So TSM just end up winning summer, go 0-6, and that is incredibly disappointing at the time because we were quite happy with FlyQuest. They were a very strong team. They go off. They do respectably in their group. Now what you have now is that you have a significantly upgraded C9 with Perks, with Sven, with Mithy in the coaching roster. Blabber unleashed even further, and they're looking monstrous in the spring split. And if they come to MSI and they are losing this badly against just even Japan, who is probably like near an average major region because they get to scrim with Korean and LPL teams, I believe, because they can share servers without too much ping. That's where it's like, yeah, sorry, you are our. We sent our best. We know we sent our best. Like TSM, we could have questioned if they were the best team going into Worlds last year. Cloud9 are clearly the best out of NA, and if they go and they do not get out of groups here at MSI, just I'm gonna move to Berlin.
Let me
I'm
put it
gonna
to you
learn
this
to
way.
enjoy, German sausage.
Yeah, let me put it to you this way. Whether or not you believe that Cloud9 is you root for Cloud9 or not. Based on international results, they are the best NA team at international events that we have produced. Because without Cloud9, we would have as many group or quarterfinal appearances as Albus, Nox, Luna, right?
One sec. Before you finish that, I just want to say I always, like I tell EO, I always root for my NA teams no matter which go.
Yeah, respect. But like, what I'm saying is, if they're the best international team that we have, and they just got the best Western player of all time, and they get shit out of groups against DFM and Gillette Infinity.
Yeah.
With Perks on the team, dude, it is the biggest loss ever because it basically sets the precedent that this is the retirement region. Perks was supposed to be the person that proved that no, you can come to NA and you can win. And all you need is a team around you that's built to succeed. But that is not what this is looking like. And we are overreacting to an 0-2 start, without a doubt. But this is completely inexcusable. And
I mean, we're okay.
Cloud9 needs to step it up because this would be the biggest disappointment ever.
Let's be honest. The win against Damwon would have been a Cinderella win, right? So that's not. It's the loss against DFM that we're really disappointed. That's I think.
Of course.
I know it's
but even against Damwon,
it should be 1-1 at least.
Agreed. And the thing that's heartbreaking about it is that against Damwon, they had a draft diff. Like they had a clearly superior draft, and they had opportunities in that game to actually win, and it was really boneheaded mistakes from Fudge and Blabber that cost them that series. I don't know if you would. You can add to that if you want, but that's my takeaway from that game. That they were not. It was not a game that was unwinnable by any means. It was definitely a winnable game. And then against DFM, they get draft diffed, and they get so many opportunities to come back into the game, and they continue to throw. Whether it's Sven and Vulcan still smurfing lane, but then getting caught out randomly under tier 2 turret, or giving up Dragon because they're pushing top lane, like these macro plays that were so bad. It wasn't just the crab fight that lost the game for them, like they had multiple chances to win this game, and they just played as if their brains were turned off, as if they were so under pressure that they couldn't play at the level we know that they can play.
Yeah. Well, we had
that's what's so baffling to me.
Well, there was a certain amount of time we had in that Cloud9 DFM game where there was just three of them roaming around their jungles trying to find picks or something. It's like you can't even, like they'd surrendered their ability to even win straight up 1v1s or just straight up lane. Like they'd just given up on the lane. They were just running around looking for picks and then just falling behind on a poke comp. And as we iterated during that match, you need to be ahead in a poke comp for it to actually be oppressive and to win. And I think that Blabber flashes smites to secure Scuttle Crab to not lose that XP and gold, but to also give that vision coverage for Fudge topside on the Jays. But it just ends up.
You didn't give a damn about vision there.
Oh yeah, well that's like the only other thing I could give it, because you're trying to actually shadow and give coverage for the Jays to really take over that matchup. But all in it just ends up going even. Like there's not even like the standard 20 CS lead, which really doesn't ever turn into anything. Like it's always a talking point, but it never really matters, And so, but Fudge just ends up even. You know, like they just lose control of the whole map from the early start. Fudge either can't or does not feel comfortable really getting aggressive in that top side. Bot side is the only place that's actually got like winning fights. And mid lane, Parks is on another control mage, cannot get any agency, cannot get prio for whatever reason, whether it's champion matchup or it's just mismanagement of waves. Because there was a certain point where Zoe's sitting there with almost full mana with the wave pushing into Perks, and Perks has no mana. So, I mean, either there's a giant mismanagement of auto attacks, waves, and spell use, or it's just how the matchup goes, and he's not going to get prio, you know, in the first 6 levels.
So the begs the question: Did Jack blew the ball by getting rid of Licorice?
No, Licorice did not peak often enough for it to matter, and they needed to move on. Jack's been fighting a cultural battle from the sound of all the interviews. He's been fighting a cultural battle in his org to get rid of bad mindsets from the old Cloud9 roster. And
Wait, I just saw Dash's outfit. What the fuck?
Must be cold.
Wait,
he's from California and Iceland now. He's just not ready for it to be cold ever. Something with that parka. I forget what that's called because it's got that. It looks like one of the Mexican top shirts or whatnot, like a blanket over you with the hole in the top. So it looks like that material.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a PA thing, but those things are called weed hoodies around here.
What he's wearing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I see that and I go, yeah, just Snoop Dogg.
He blazes it for sure. That's a 420.
I interview every day, you know.
Anyways, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, so I'm trying to remember where my point was for that. The weed hoodie got me distracted, man.
I was saying about Licorice since he's
Licorice. Okay, yeah. So like I see Jack getting rid of Licorice because in that beautiful run that they had last spring, Reaper and Licorice were like the last elements that still had those people had touched the older generation of Cloud9, and so when he finally got rid of them, this is the freshest sort of version of C9 we've had, with no sneaky, none of that really old Cloud9 roster of Meteos balls and high on all that, and so I think he's gotten to the right culture that he's attracted over Mithy, Perks, Sven. Blabber's stuck around, so I think Jack's really built like a great situation for it. It's just right now, we're kind of wondering like why is the team making these decisions? Why are they making like really dumb decisions on scuttles? Why are they, not appearing to be aware of priority or even communicate priority? Or was everyone just okay with that play, even though, like, it feels like from then on they were just behind. There was no way for anyone to like get ahead. So,
yeah. Yeah, this is. I mean, it's just crushing as a fan, right? Of a region that you just desperately want to show, like, to be able to just watch it and discuss it and know that some of the teams that you're representing are going to perform at an international stage. They don't have to win, but they should be competitive, right?
Yeah.
And to see this out of a team that I had such high hopes for, because I still don't think that I'm overhyping how well Blabber was playing in NA. And to see them completely collapse like this, not play their style at all, to play a completely different style and play it in such a disappointing way, and lose their entire identity in the process, it's just soul crushing, really.
Yeah.
It reminds me of summer again, and I don't know. At this point, this is the first time I've seen a Cloud9 roster 2 years in a row that has major choke elements to it.
Yeah. Well, I think the only baiting thing that we could go for the rest of the group stage going into tomorrow, tomorrow they've got Infinity. So tomorrow's like sort of last chance saloon for dignity, I guess you could say.
It's a must win. It's a must win or you're out.
Yeah. And this is
because even if you win against Damwon the next week, there's still no guarantee that you'll make it out. Well, the only I don't even know if it's like a point of positivity that I can add, but DFM lost to Infinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means they're still 1-1. Which means if they, what I said before was like if they randomly take a game off of Damwon, for example, it might not even matter that C9 beats them. They might still not make it out, but actually, they would still be 3-3, and so they would at least get a tiebreaker. C9, I mean.
Yeah.
So in that case, I guess it's a slight positivity. But at this point, C9 are really hoping that Damwon go 6-0 in groups,
Yeah.
and they have to win their next DFM game. Or yeah, or it's just fucking doomed, man.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, that's where the only sort of I actually end up believing that G2 was more perks than it was G2. Because especially just watching G2 struggle over in the LEC for spring. So the only thing I'm sort of looking at and hoping is like, okay, Perks is going to be done with this. Here's the play from earlier. Sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, there's that ending play. But that's where I think at this point the G2 really coming back into it. And Perks kind of bringing it back in, like G2 throws a few dumb games and then comes back into it. That's what I'm almost anticipating for Perks to at least be of that mindset of like, okay, now we're gonna play our standard safe stuff. Let me scale up. Let you guys have the agency on Vulcan, on Blabber, on Fudge. But I think once we get to tomorrow, if we don't see Perks like on Rise, on Zoe, on some character that's going to demand and like guarantee prio to allow him to make plays around the map, then I think we can just call it a wash. And just give them their colostomy bags and their AIG cards and call it over.
I'm rooting for NA, but as I said, as a TSM fan, that's all I'm doing is LOLing. That's all I'm doing right
Raffle,
now.
raffle.
You know what? You're allowed to. This is where like the last year's shit tilted the fuck out of me, which is that when C9 lost to TSM in the summer, and then TSM ended up going 0-6 at Worlds, a lot of C9 fans were like, basically a lot of C9 fans were like, yeah, we would never do that at Worlds as C9, and at that point I was like, that tilted the fuck out of me because we lost the best of 5, so like you can't talk anymore, right? Like you just win there, and then you can talk shit. But obviously I still laughed at TSM because that's fucking hilarious, 0-6 at Worlds. But on the second hand, it's like, you didn't make it there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have no right to talk shit. And same thing exactly with, like, TSM would get shit on even harder if they were at this tournament.
I don't know.
So I'm not.
I don't know about that, man. I'm gonna straight up say I don't know about that because of what.
Okay.
Because I don't. What I mean is I don't think when it comes to going against minor regions, I can see them getting dumpstered by major. I'm not. But when they're in the wild cards, when they've shown before past tournaments, they do the same thing like C9. They stop the gatekeepers like EO says. So if it was detonation, I think they could win that game. I don't disagree on that one. I don't think they could beat Damwon King. I'm not delusional. But DFM, yeah, I think TSM could do it.
I mean, did you think that Cloud9 couldn't do it?
I said that if they don't clean up like things like what we've mentioned before, like putting
I mean,
pressure.
that just you realize that's a very unfair take, right? Like, because we'll never actually get to see it happen.
Well, first off, the real take is what is the coaching doing and putting in like getting it like, okay, great. We know there's always gonna be a meta in a tournament, right? Their own tournament. That's fair. Okay, whoop-de-doo. But again, you even broke it down. Why are
Yeah,
you
no, I agree that
why are
C9
you
deserves
putting?
to be flamed. I just don't think that the flame is that TSM would have done better. There's no merit to that, right? Because like then
I'm
I
not
could say
saying
that
I'm not
C9 should have
saying
done C9 should have been the representative for NA last Worlds, like
I'm
instead of
not saying
TSM.
done better, but they were like crowning these people like, and I'm like, wait a minute, the games need to be played. What? Wait a second.
No,
And
C9 does have the crown for best NA team. They do
I
because
mean,
they won.
they did win. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when it comes like EO pointed out, when it comes to minor regions, NA normally typically does well. So I it's not unbiased of me to say if it was an NA team, they typically beat minor regions. We saw it with Fly
Yeah,
last year. We saw it with TL. Um,
yeah, but
my,
I'm saying that this is not you can't exclude other NA teams when our best NA team performs poorly, right? Like the when TSM went 0-6,
I didn't excuse
that's
them
an
though. I
indication of
never
the
excused them.
entire NA sucks, right?
But Kofta, I never excused them. I was embarrassed. I even
Yeah,
talked about it.
but are you going to say that C9 would have done better at Worlds than TSM?
I maybe probably.
Okay,
They,
well, I mean, fair point then.
they,
I still don't think that
I'm not
like
delusional.
that type of shit. No, that type of shit like it doesn't make sense to me because it's like if you would have done better, why didn't you win against that team when you played a best of 5?
But this it's the same thing with the what's going on with their team as just with drafting. Why are they stemming away from doing certain things? Why are you not putting like when you give, for instance, LeBron James, you give him the ball, or you give your the ball to James Harden, or your best player, Kyrie Irving. Why are you not putting him on the pick that's gonna make you win the game? Screw top lane. Oh,
I
that
don't
you
know.
did.
Why are you putting PoE on Lucian?
I mean, I mean, he did win a game against Cloud9 in the lock-in, so it's not unbelievable.
Fair enough. I just yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
if we want to go with
It's
pick,
we'll never see it happen. So the like we'll never see DFM play against TSM. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like it's a random ass hypothetical in my opinion.
I'm not
Like,
jabbing at I'm jabbing at Cloud9 because why are they stemming away? Why are they putting like how many games did for instance did Fudge play Jace? So let's look it up. I guarantee it wasn't a lot. I
oh yeah,
guarantee.
I agree. I agree with you. They shouldn't be playing these picks. I 100% agree with you.
So I'm flaming them for what they're doing. They're trying to
Yeah,
be
if you're
innovative.
flaming C9, that's fine. I just
I'm blaming them for
if
their picks and what they're doing because it's not C9. And I know if they played the
yeah,
Let's Leave
no,
Fudge
no.
Alone,
C9 deserves to be flamed for losing against DFM. 1000% they deserve to be flamed. But it's just like the comparison to other NA teams when an NA team's like misperforms at an international event. That doesn't make sense to me. Like you can't say that because team A that B team B lost at an international event that a team B would have done better. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense.
but
I don't know.
given Cloud9 100T, even even when they had their at Worlds and TL, they've always done. So I'm gonna go off of that. Like the last year was the only terrible year. Normally, and it goes even up until last year, but people forget about that, because we don't make it out of groups, but we break even. But people forget about that. It was only 1 year, but of course that 1 year is gonna be the infamy
I
that
mean,
we know.
generally speaking, our third seed team always goes like 0-5 or something, or 1-5. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I agree that the difference between us and other major regions like EU isn't as massive as people seem to think it is. But I also think that anyway, it doesn't that's a different topic in of itself. I think that the biggest disappointment is that C9 is performing this way when they were the best team that NA had to send. Like this is a I actually do believe that TL or TSM, if they had trained, would be able to perform against DFM. And seeing C9 not perform is tragic, but it's more so an indicator that if our most adaptive team from NA can't do this, then we actually do really really suck as a region. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's why this is like scary if you think about it, right? Because the thing is, if TSM, let's say TSM go, we're like, okay, we figured TSM's gonna bomb because it's TSM, but because Cloud9 has this pretty much a super team outside of, I guess you could say, Fudge, but we'll give him, say he's been been picking it up. This is the NA's best team, so I mean that's fair. That's fair to be critical because that's what everyone's hailing them as.
yeah. I mean, yeah. C9 also has this aura about them, with them as well as Perks, which I honestly bought into after watching the last two matches of playoffs. We shall see.
I mean, can they
It's not
turn?
over yet. It's not over yet.
Can they turn it around? Of course. We saw PSG turn it around today. We saw Infinity. We saw Wildcats. They played a very competitive game against Mad Lions. If they just had better decision making, they could. It could have been. That could have been a basically an even group. The lopsided group is well, not even lopsided because RNG and ULL is playing out how it should be, right? I think we could all agree on that group. Um, so and that's how I feel. Like I think they need to like just I don't know what Mithy and Rainover's doing, but they need to figure out something because it's not looking too good. I think they could play better, and that's why I'm disappointed because I feel like they can play better. I really do. They always do this. NA teams, not just C9, NA teams always go. They play a style, and they're too afraid to play their own style. And then they realize in the second week, oh man, our style actually does work because we know we've been playing it so long. Gee, I wonder why it did work.
Yeah.
Well, I think I am going to need to download this whole stream and edit out this last podcast of it, basically. y'all just went ham at that.
Oh, I feel the game. I thought you finished that recording when the game was done. Actually.
Oh no, I haven't been recording since the Mad Lions game, but the stream's still going, so I can go download the Twitch.
Yeah, I thought that. No, I think that it's a valid argument. Honestly, this is a pretty popular argument, which is that if a team performs poorly, like, do you extrapolate the success and failure of that team to the region, or do you identify that team as having selective weaknesses compared to other teams that the region could have represented? Which is a very interesting argument. I don't personally. I do extrapolate a team's success to its region at an event like MSI because you're only sending your best team, but it becomes a lot more compelling if all of your teams at Worlds misperform. Then it becomes like a lot more of a compelling argument, in my opinion.
Yeah,
whereas last year it was like Team Liquid did okay.
Yeah, when you send a variant of your top teams, you get to see different play styles and different strengths come through. Not to mention just play styles as they match up against others. That's where extrapolating too far, especially where we're at. Like, we're having a fun time overreacting in a way with how C9 kind of tossed their game today. But yeah, I think it'll be tomorrow's litmus test. We have let's go ahead and just like look at the schedule real quick, and then we can call it from here. Unless you guys have any other topics you want to explore. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, cool. Let me get myself out of the way. Alrighty, so for tomorrow, May 8th, will be day 3 of groups for MSI 2021. Top of the day, RNG, Unicorns of Love, and then UOL versus Pentanet.gg. Let me share this to you guys just so it's easier to find. There we go. There we go. Now you guys can look at that as I scroll through. All right. So we kind of expect a repeat of the RNG UOL tomorrow morning. UOL versus Pentanet, which is where UOL gets to separate. That's the actual game that matters for that group tomorrow, is UOL separating itself from Pentanet. After that, we get to see if Detonation Focus Me can actually contend with Damwon Gaming and like put Cloud9's hopes even more in the gutter. And then Cloud9 goes against Gillette Infinity Esports. And fingers crossed on that one. I think the fun game of the day will be the Mad Lions Pain Gaming, and then PSG Talon versus Istanbul Fast Pay Wildcats. So, what are you guys' thoughts looking at this tomorrow? We know this is like do or die for C9 right now, but what else do you guys have for tomorrow's games?
Tomorrow's games.
Mm-hmm.
It's on. It's you have it streaming or
Yeah, I shared the screen on Discord.
Yeah, I would personally think that UOL versus RNG is going to be a very hype game to watch, as well as Mad Lions versus Pain Gaming should be interesting. This is a do or die for Pain Gaming also, so I'm assuming they pull out some kind of cheese strat. Could be
Yeah.
interesting.
Something
And
crazy.
finally, yeah, C9 versus Infinity has so many implications on the line, so tomorrow's going to be actually kind of lit just because of how important some of these games are.
honestly, Cloud9 should be rooting for Detonation Focus Me to beat.
Yep.
Why?
One, because that would make the group. That it makes them an easier
Bring
chance of
closer together,
close together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would require them to be damn one to have a chance of making it closer.
I mean, it's week
You
2.
got it.
People will have better preparation. I mean, not. I mean,
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm not week 2. I'm sorry. People have more video to look over the next few hours and prepare. And we've seen what a difference we see. Night and day. PSG just demolished and Pain Gaming.
Yeah.
And we saw that Istanbul Wildcats pretty much outside of Farfetch feeding, they were up with Mad Lions for the most part of that game, and they actually had some good macro throughout the game. If you watch, that was probably one of the most exciting games today.
Yeah. That was
So
one of the most even matched games we've had so far in MSI. Like I tweeted it out. It's like, just give me nothing but Group B. Like that's the only thing I want on broadcast. Everything else can just go away. I don't care. Like it's the only group right now that is actually like even matched sort of across the board and feels like that would be a fun tournament to actually like watch play out. Because Pan Gaming's like is kind of clearing out the lowest tier, but Mad Lions versus Wildcats versus Talon, like that top 3, and Pain Gaming as like the dark horse upset just makes that whole group so much more of a compelling watch.
yeah, so I definitely want to. I'm going to be watching RNG because I'm a Xiaohu fanboy now, and I mean, I want Cloud9 to win, but man, because look, FlyQuest was in the same situation last year. They might have gotten. I think they went 3-3 and they're down. So like, it's not unfathomable that they could beat Damwon. It's how they beat Damwon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously rooting against Detonation Focus Me, and I'm hoping that C9 can get a nice clean victory against Infinity. And if that happens, I think C9 will be fine going forward because all they'll need to do is beat DFM and Infinity the week after to make it out of groups. It's still all within their hands. I think 3 games is probably going to be enough to get out of groups because I don't think that Infinity or DFM are going to take games off of Damwon.
No, I
We
don't.
shall see.
Unless I can believe DFM taking a game off of Damwon. I could see a realm of that happening. I know it sounds crazy, but we've seen things happen.
Yeah, anything is possible in a best of 1. That's true, but
there's gonna be a need to be perhaps
I'm not saying they're gonna win. By the way,
yeah, there's gonna probably need to be a major implosion on the side of Damwon for them to lose a game like that. But as I said, best of 1s or anything is possible here. Any other closing statements before we shut off the stream for the day? Thank you all for coming out. Thank you guys for joining in when you can. I know people got work and got lives and greens to eat. So
yeah. All right. Peace out, boys.
Yeah. See you later.
Take care.
Fun. I'll try to be tomorrow's what? Saturday?
Yeah, tomorrow's Saturday.
What time? I can be here for the. I don't have anything planned for Saturday. Sunday I have stuff planned, but not not Saturday. So
Roger.
uh, I can be here. Did you? I can look. Yeah, I can be here. What
Cool.
are you gonna be up to?
I'll be up. I'll be up for it. I think once it get past, for me, once it gets onto Sunday, it gets a little weird. Because I've been doing this, for like 6 day, for like 4 days straight, and I need to start getting some more IRL things done. And I'm not sure if I want to watch, RNG just beat up on UOL and Pentanet all day. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay, that sounds like a plan then.
so we'll see. I'll message. I've been messaging people. It's like, hey, it's here, ready to go. But we'll see about it, man. Thanks for coming on,
All
and we'll
all
catch you.
right, take care.
Cool. Thank you all for coming on out, and we are out of here.